Good morning, Lionhearts. It's your old pal Jordan the Lion. How are you today? Well, I'm another year older today. Actually, when I signed off last night, I was another year older. And you know what I got for my birthday today? This big wrinkle across my forehead. I never noticed that before. Was that there before? I feel like that's what happened overnight. I don't know. Anyway, today, this is like one of my most anticipated trips of like this whole thing. This place that we're going today is like this center of the town of Visby. And it's, well, you'll see. There's a gigantic brick wall that goes around the entire city center. There's a ton of history inside, and there's a good reason why that wall is there, and I'm gonna tell you when we get there. Daze with Jordan the Lion, Michael, Christina, the whole gang starts now. Welcome to Visby, friends. Boy, do we have a great story today. I'm gonna tell you the story behind that wall, why it's there, and what it's seen in its time being there. Let's rock. Take a look at the waters of Visby, the Baltic Sea, friends, because this sea, for a very large chunk of history, this was the main import-export hub of trade in all of Europe. This was the richest trade center there was. And that kind of explains why that wall's there. Because you see, when you are very wealthy as a city in trade, of course you know how the world works. You have people trying to invade you constantly. Now the wall itself wasn't actually put here to protect the city from invaders originally, like the merchants or anything. It was actually put here to protect the city from the local farmers. As I understand it, basically what happened was, because Visby had become such a rich city, or a rich town because of the trade, they were taxing the bejesus out of everybody that lived nearby. And the farmers decided they were gonna try and revolt. And so the city basically, or the, I keep calling it city because I'm living in Los Angeles, but they basically built this so that they could defend themselves against the locals. Now, of course, as you might have guessed, because they were so wealthy here, eventually they did run into situations where they had merchants and people from Germany, Denmark, coming and trying to invade and basically rob Visby. So this wall ended up coming in pretty handy when it came to defense. And if you take a look at all the holes up there, you'll notice that that's where they would poke out the bows and arrows, the cannons for defense from any invaders that might come from this water. And this wall has quite a history even beyond that, because in 1361, it saw one of the most horrendous battles Visby has ever seen, and something that Visby still, and I believe actually in about a week, they're gonna recreate what happened here. And I'm gonna go walk to the other side of this wall, and I'm going to tell you the story right now about King Valdemar from Denmark. Now, I feel that the best way to actually tell you this story is to take it back even before Valdemar, to his father, King Christian of Denmark. King Christian was kind of a weak leader, and because of that, during the time that he ruled, many of the parts of Denmark had been portioned out and were actually being ruled by kind of mini rulers all over the country. So one night, as King Christian is trying to sleep, his house gets invaded and he's murdered. And then his son, who lives in the northernmost section of Denmark, King Valdemar, well, he wasn't king yet, he becomes the king of Denmark. Now, what ends up happening is he takes the dowry that he got from his wife and he starts buying up as much land as he can get with it. And then what he ends up doing is he starts just taxing everybody that's in that area. And I actually found kind of a breakdown as to how they described it. They said that There was a low tax, a medium tax, a high tax, and then a Valdemar tax, where he basically just took everything. He took as much as he could get. He did all of that. He inherited part of Estonia, and he ends up selling Estonia to buy up even more land in Denmark, and then he hires mercenaries. He hires German, Denmark, mercenaries from basically all around this area, 2,000 of them, to become a force that he uses to make his way across Sweden and actually over here to Visby to try and take over Visby. So when Valdemar entered the waters to attack not Visby, he actually was attacking Gotland, the entire island. This little city inside these walls is Visby. He came and he entered through Gotland and he started working his way north, basically tramping his way through anybody that got in his way. And when he got to a place called Masterby, or however you would pronounce it in Swedish, the local farmers there had decided that they were not going to give in to him. And so what they did was they kind of sparsed out many little sections of warriors that were all farmers into the forest, and they burned down the bridge that was there. They destroyed the bridge so that Valdemar, if he made it there, he couldn't get across it. He would have to go up a little bit north, and he would have to enter through this marsh section. The problem was that when that happened, that marsh section, it was summertime and the water had dried out, so when the farmers and everybody came out to attack, it wasn't very hard for Valdemar to defend himself because it was dry land. Now the actual wall itself was built over the 13th and 14th century, and so when Valdemar attacked here, he actually started this in like 1340. That's when he started his takeover of Denmark and eventually made his way over to here in 1361. So once he got past the soldiers or the farmers that were there defending that marsh right there in Masterby, he made his way up through, and he actually made his way to the gate of this wall. And we're gonna walk over there now, and I'm gonna show you, and I'm gonna tell you what ended up happening there. It was a bloody massacre. Now when Valdemar finally got to almost the front gates of Visby, the farmers and everybody that lived here decided that they were going to defend their rights, they were going to defend their property here. And so they only had about 2,000, maybe even less, and they had children, men, farmers, even handicapped people were out here fighting. The unfortunate thing was that they couldn't defend against Valdemar's crossbows and archers that just started raining down arrows until it got to a point where either everybody conceded and gave in or they were murdered. Now what else is kind of interesting to me as we walk over to the site of where the battle was, this street that we're walking on, this wasn't here when Visby was first colonized, because this was actually the beach. You would have been standing on the beach right now and the water would have been rising up daily right at our feet. But eventually they realized that this was going to be a central port, and they decided to drain the water and they started building houses here. That's where all these have come from. I know you guys don't mind walking tours. Not if you watch my show, you couldn't. Cool house alert, cool house alert. Now I could be wrong, guys, but as I understand it from what I read, this was the original wall. This is the original wall. But this section, these sections right out here, were added a little bit later as defense when they put cannons up in the top. And that was shortly, as I understand it, after when the farmers had revolted and they built all this. They actually added that on, let's say like 100 years later, it sounded like. But it's right up here where the story takes its weird turn, or it takes its fateful turn. Now this section of the wall was actually known as Big Henry, and it was, like I said, shortly after they constructed the original part of the wall that they increased the height a little bit and added these towers as an extra defense. Now I certainly hope I'm right about this, but I'm almost positive from all the maps I was able to find online that this right here was the intersection, the staging, and where the battle started and ended. Now right here is where I believed it was, and Michael kind of confirmed it because he said when they do the reenactment, they do it the entrance right here. Now what happened was that, even though it's been a few minutes since I've been into the story, when Valdemar made it here with his troops, the invalids, the handicapped, pretty much anybody that was willing to fight, they created a barrier here, and they decided they were not going to let Valdemar in no matter what. And Valdemar had, like I said, he had all these mercenaries with crossbows and bows and arrows. And basically what they did was they just started raining arrows until they mercilessly killed as many that were fighting until the rest of them gave up. And then what they ended up doing was Valdemar marched to these walls, and up in the towers, even on the top of that tower, and then the ones over to the side over here, there were the people who chose not to fight, the women, anybody else that chose not to fight. Valdemar came to this gate and demanded to be let in, and said if they didn't let him in, that there would be more destruction and that he would destroy everything. He would destroy the entire town of Visby. So the people that were inside the walls that were up there in the towers just decided to give in, and they opened the gate to Valdemar. Valdemar's troops went in and they pillaged everything. They robbed every bit of history and anything that was of any value, loaded it up on a ship, and marched straight through Visby, and they hopped on a boat and exited right there in the water where we started. And that is known as the Battle of 1361 here. And I decided that was like a big thing that I was going to cover when I came here. It was like centrifugal to the story of the area. And when I told Michael that's what I was going to do today, he said, well, in about a week or a week and a half, they're going to do the reenactment, so we might come for that. And here you can actually see the stairwell going up alongside the tower that they would have walked up. Now, they obviously don't allow you to get up there now, it doesn't look like, but you can definitely see, you can see where they would have been a walkway up there. And I'm sure they have that there for the reenactments. Now right over here is actually the town square. Now what's also awesome about this town square that I love was that because this was such a thriving community and village at the time that it was, you know, heavy in the merchant trade, when people would have weddings or funerals or anything, like they would celebrate a death or, you know, like remember a death or celebrate a wedding or whatever, they didn't really even do invitations. Just everybody met up in this town square and they all celebrated whether they knew each other or not. And from here you can see the other sides of the wall. The wall goes all the way around in like a circle. I've been holding on to a map that you might have seen me holding while I was talking. And this you can kind of see how it works. We were right here, that's where the invasion was, over here in Soderport. And where we started was actually right up here where it says Mirfat, right up in there. So we've walked all the way around this part of the wall to here. And yes, I said we because you guys came along too, you're doing the walk with me. Now this is actually now a museum, but this was at one point the prison tower. And you can actually go inside and you can feel the aura and the coldness, the solitude of those cells when you go in. And it was actually called the Casjarn prison from 1681 to 1859. And here you can read this. It actually says, In the tower, there's an exhibition about crime and punishment during the time the Castjar Tower served as a prison. Experience the darkness, the cold, and the restored prison rooms. So, yeah, feel the despair of the accused prisoners through the histories. So it's kind of like what I said. Now I want to find my way back to the main, I guess you'd call it the main drag. Which I guess this will take me there. Won't it? We'll find out. No trespassing, remember guys? No such thing out here. And if there is, we'll find out. Look at that place. I thought Visby, from all my grogging last night, I thought that meant whiskey, but maybe not. And this little sign says Wall of Sound. Michael told me that there are actually a couple of recording studios here on the island. Or not even just the island, but like right here in Visby, this little walled-in community. Creepy. I know it's probably a long shot, but I'm really hoping to walk past like a camera store, electronics store here, because I want to buy another memory card. I'm kind of not wanting to delete any of the footage from this trip. I'm enjoying it so much. Oh yeah, I may have to pop in and get the lioness something, take back to her. I really wish that YouTube wasn't such a weird community, because I would love to like show her on my channel, but a couple of bad eggs will ruin it for everybody, and I don't want to put her through that. It's bad enough I have to put up with it myself. So Michael and Christina, actually, we all came together, but what they were doing here is they were taking wedding photos. Like, they didn't really do engagement photos, so they were going to do some today with a photographer, and they just brought me along so I could wander around and take a look. But now it's time to go meet up with them, so let's go. But it looks like a church is down here, and I don't know what's up. Like, years ago you'd have never gotten me into a church. Now I want to go in and look at the architecture of just about every one I go past. And a handful of you have commented on some of the videos that you love the churches, so I'm going to go in a few. So much for that beautiful sky I've come to expect. We're expecting rain again today. It rained last night. We're supposed to get it again today. Now, I initially did think this was a church, and who wouldn't look at it? But as I got up closer, it looks like it's been repurposed as a theater, and that they have theatrical style performances here. I mean, it's about as obvious as you can get when you make your way to this side and you see that sign. I'm no expert on Swedish, but even I can figure out what that means. And since it's not a church, it's also not open. The doors are all locked. I tried. That does not look like the ice cream clown that I know. I'm not even a Muhammad Ali fan, but that is an awesome backpack. Let me tell you. I might actually get that one. That's the Jacksons, the 1984 Jacksons reunion. I was seriously considering buying that backpack, but as soon as I touched the material, it was like maybe the thinnest fake pleather you've ever felt in your life, and I was like, I'm afraid even if part of that material got stuck in a zipper, it'd rip, so I don't know. It was pretty cheap though. I probably will go back and get it, I know. I'm a sucker for Michael Jackson, especially the Jackson 5 and the Jacksons, so. Michael warned me that this was the birthplace of Tintin, and that I was gonna see a lot, and I warned him that I was a big Tintin fan from the animated show, so I might buy a t-shirt with Tintin on it. And that time might be now. Oh yeah, I did it. I just like Tintin too much. Plus, check this out. All the little figures that you can buy from the Tintin. God, it was such a great movie. I mean, such a great show. It was a great movie too. Now, anybody in my family, when I say this, they're gonna not believe me at all, but this is the first thing that I have purchased since I've been in Sweden, as far as any kind of souvenir or anything like that. First thing I've purchased yet in 4 days. Totally unlike me. And stuff like this view right here, this just makes me so thankful that I was able to get this camera that I'm using and also get the wide angle lens, because my cell phone just would not have done this justice. So any of you that donated anything in the time that I've been on this channel, that's a huge thank you to you. Literally to all of you. Without you, I probably wouldn't have this camera or this lens, so thank you. The blue flag with the yellow cross is Sweden. The red is Visby, Gotland. Now I'm trying to find my way to the meeting place and I just keep seeing ruins that I want to walk through. It's the downside to having plans, stuff you got to do. And this is actually the inside part of exactly where I started today. Exactly. Right on the other side of this is literally the water that I showed you to begin. And of course, look at all those, it makes you wonder, but all those holes would have been for bows and arrows and mainly cannons and defending the water side of the wall. Now the sad thing is that I was actually brought along today so that I could vlog some of the, what is this? Is that a sign? Heart stickers? Should I get them? I don't know. What I was gonna say is, pretty sad that I just got so wrapped up in this. The reason they brought me was because they thought that I would want to vlog their photo session, and I did. But they were like, oh, go ahead and start vlogging, we'll meet you over here. And then I just got so swept away like I always do, I completely forgot what I was here for. If for some of you that may not know, what's happening is, for their wedding present, I'm actually gonna make them a movie-length vlog. And I'm not gonna use probably most of the footage that I've used in my vlogs. That's what I want the other memory card for. I want to create an entire memory card of just stuff from pretty much the day, which is Wednesday, the day that everybody arrives. All the groomsmen, all the bridesmaids, just about everybody's arriving on the same flights on Wednesday. So that's kind of the day that I'm officially gonna start vlogging their wedding gift. And since I'm running so late, I'm not gonna go up to the top of this tower. I'll do it the next time I'm here, because they have a staircase that you can actually take it up to the very top and look out. And I'm hoping this is the side that I'm supposed to meet them on. Now what's also interesting is you see this little thing right here popping out of the ground. What I think that is, Michael had told me that during World War II, they had all these underground bunkers for protection, and I think that's one of them. It certainly would appear that way, wouldn't it? I mean, what else would it be? And I actually was supposed to go see a World War II underground bunker in Reykjavik, but I ran out of time, so spoiler alert, you won't be seeing one there, but you're seeing one now. We could walk right into the water from here. Look at that sailboat out there. Beautiful! That's what we're gonna do next time. You see where all those people are climbing up? We're gonna climb up to that and we're gonna look out where that flagpole is. And somebody had commented on one of my videos early on in the European vacation, the National Jordan European vacation, that they were actually not looking forward to these videos because they were afraid I was gonna do just tons of tourist stuff, but that they were actually enjoying the videos because I wasn't, and I'm trying not to. I'm just trying to show you what I'm interested in and what I see that's cool or what I like. I really don't care what other people come to see. I'm coming to see what I've read about and what I'm like, that is awesome. There's another house, I think it's called the Jacob Dubb house. And when I have a chance to come back, I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna tell you the story about him. Poor guy. This town ruined his life. And I'll tell you how. Well, 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 in an interesting turn of events, I was supposed to meet them back here 8 minutes ago, and somehow I beat them here. I thought I was rushing, thinking for sure I was the last one. I did not expect to see this driving by. So we're back over here at the Donner's house. We're gonna get something to eat. Michael was just telling me they were filming a German movie here recently, or a German TV show, and they've been using this as the police station. I love this wall, that's awesome. Well, time to go and head back to Hablingbo.
Today?
You have.
All right, we're trying some Swedish candy that I've never had before.
You got that?
All right, let's give it a whirl. Well, I think I made Michael proud today, not only for supporting the Swedish economy, but apparently he is a pretty big Tintin fan himself. And since I didn't show you guys what I bought, this is the shirt that I bought. Only thing I've really bought in Sweden. I mean, I paid for like a drink last night, but other than that, I haven't spent any money, so figured, where else am I gonna find a great looking Tintin shirt like that? Used to watch that on HBO when I was in elementary school. Alright gang, I decided to go out on a little adventure. I want to get up close and personal with a windmill. Honest to God, couldn't tell you where my fascination with windmills comes from. I don't know if it's maybe from Don Quixote, or maybe it was when I went to Holland and saw him in person for myself, and then walked outside the Van Gogh Museum and bought a shirt with the windmill on it as a souvenir. But there's just something with the idea of what a windmill does and what it represents. It's just always fascinated me. And this one goes all the way back to 1889. And I can tell that because there's an iron flag at the very top that tells you that. And they have two doors with actually a key, and I tried to open them and I couldn't get it open, so the key, it doesn't really work. But I would have loved to have gotten inside and just shown you. Let's take a look if we can. Can you see anything in there? Not really much to see. I hadn't really got a chance to get out and look at any of them up close and personal, so I figured everybody was out running errands except for me. Probably a good time for me to come out and do a little bit more exploring for the day, even though I feel like the vlog today is pretty awesome as it is. I would love to tell you what this says. It's Rangsarv Kavarn, but I don't read Swedish. And usually they have both descriptions. They'll have English and Swedish, so you can at least figure it out, but not in this case. But way up there at the very top, if you look close enough, you can see it says 1889 right up there on that little flag. And here's how they would have moved it. Little cartwheel. I'll never get to see this in Los Angeles. Nope, no way. But they're everywhere out here. See, I was jiggling this sucker for a while. I turned it every which way you can turn it, and you'd think because it's a key at some point it would open, but they don't want, I guess they don't want the likes of me in there rooting around. I think that's a little bit better view of what's inside. So I just got a surprise that they're like taking me out for a birthday dinner and birthday drinks. How nice of them.
Yeah.
I don't really want to vlog it because I feel like it might interrupt the mood, but Carolyn Lagerfeld, who is Michael's neighbor, and I told you guys she's an actress. It's pretty cool because when I was younger, I think I was probably like in junior high school, Nash Bridges was on TV with Cheech Marin and Don Johnson. And Carolyn was actually on the show. I believe, if I remember right, she was Cheech's wife on the show. So she's the sweetest person in the world, and she's a stage actress, TV movie actress, and she invited some friends to like this birthday celebration they're throwing for me. And her two friends are professional musicians here, and actually the gentleman was the man who started the Baltic Sea Festival, and he helped run the Stockholm Contemporary Symphony for years, recently retired. So it's pretty cool. They're like really, really nice people and really funny people, and we're just up there yucking it up and having fun. And it's like, it's pretty cool because I didn't like make, you know, I told you guys, I was like, I've had so many bad birthdays, I didn't mention anything. And then we were at lunch today, Christina said, well, you're kind of in for a treat. We got you a cake, and since Michael didn't get his favorite cake for the wedding, he picked out his favorite cake for your birthday, like a Swedish delicacy. And so they're gonna like give me a cake later. They're taking me out to eat, and this is like our pre-game drinking, having hors d'oeuvres at Carolyn Lagerfeld's house. And It's so cool. Like, this is maybe one of the best birthdays I've ever had, actually. And they sent me down to go get the Riesling.
So exciting! Oh, I sent Jordan off to do a job and I think he's lost.
And if you're wondering how real she is, here she is doing the Tony Awards, and that's her right there.
So, oh, let's breathe. It's breath.
To you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Jordan, happy birthday to you.
Best birthday ever.
Swedish one. It's not always.
Ja må han leva, ja må han leva, ja må han leva ut i 100 år. Ja visst ska han leva, ja visst ska han leva, ja visst ska han leva ut i 100 år.
Oh my God.
Amazing! Thank you!
Han lever, hipp hipp! Hurra, 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 hurra!
Swedish drinking song. I thought I was done vlogging for the night, so I left my camera over at the house, and then like so much is going on, and they're like, you know what? They rode a tandem bike here together. The couple that I was telling you about, the musicians, the ones that were just singing, and they wanted Michael and Christina to take a photo on it, so they asked me to go get my camera. Here we go. Well, here they come. So here's where they're taking me for the birthday dinner. What great friends. Here we are at Magazine. Well, good evening, Lionhearts. The long day is over, and this was probably one of the best birthdays I've ever had. I had an amazing display of love by everybody here, and especially you guys. I mean, from the moment that I looked at Facebook and looked at YouTube, I had so many happy birthdays and well wishes, and it was an overwhelming display of kindness from everybody in my life, and I wanted to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for making it a really great birthday. I have had a history of really bad birthdays, and this was really special. So now I have to go edit our vlog that you're watching now and go to sleep, because tomorrow I'm going to Denmark and Germany. So come back and see me tomorrow. We are taking a boat ride. Have a great night, Lionhearts. From your old pal Jordan the Lion on his birthday, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good night.